Here, Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passion. Where'd your passion for filmmaking, storytelling kind of come from while growing up in Cleveland? Was there a certain movie that inspired it, or something that was just naturally for you as a child?
Yeah, it's actually something that I get asked quite often, and for me, it's always been the same as I was a little kid. For as far back as I can remember, to like the age of 3 years old, uh, my memory is of being, just mesmerized by what I saw on TV, whether it was like a film or a TV show or anything that had to do with storytelling fascinated me. And I used to, at first, it always kind of progressed for me, the conception of how these things are made that we watch and get entertained by. And I remember when I was like 2.5, 3 years old, I used to love sci-fi movies and like stories that were like, out of the, norm, because to me at first, I remember thinking that these are just small people in these squared boxes that just live in the box, and they, show us their lives and their stories. And then I started growing and maturing, and my concept changed of knowing, okay, these are not people in the boxes that are living there, but they're actually real people in our world that are, playing roles of, an actor can be a doctor, an engineer, or, a lawyer, or a bad guy. And then they're playing all these different roles. So that started getting on me like, okay, that's really cool, because everyone used to ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And what do you want to do? And to me, it's like I could never pinpoint on one thing. And I said, okay, these actors are getting to live multiple lives and do whatever they want and tell stories. And for me, like, the stories always carried on after the movie ended. So I would, watch Terminator 2 and, make up my own story going forward. Jurassic Park, these were some of the, great sci-fi movies I grew up. Back to the Future,
Yeah.
was my ultimate favorite. And
Oh,
I'd rewatch these things and try to like make up my own stories and carry on with the characters. And so as I got older and older, I got into acting even at a younger age, like 7, 8 years old. I would do like youth theater groups.
oh,
And
cool.
then I went into like drama club in school, and always started like doing, performing and then writing my own stories as well. I started writing really young
Wow,
when I
very
was
young. That's cool.
in third grade. Yeah, I would just, and at that time, I would just write kind of little short books and short kids stories, and with vampires, or I would even make my own versions of like the Terminator series. Even though I was young, I was a huge fan of the Terminator,
Yeah.
and just all these classic films we all grew up watching. I'm sure we all share the same, taste in them, because they're just all so classic and revolutionary films and stories from when we grew up. We were lucky enough to be in a generation that went through so many transitions in the film industry, and we were able to see a lot of growth in technology and just the way films and stories are told.
Mhm.
So, growing up with that kind of, we evolved, and a lot of the filmmakers that I know, our age, and that are in the business, not just as a filmmaker, but as an actor, as a performer, as a storyteller, in a very short amount of time, things have changed. Every like 10 years, every decade, um, like these styles change, because I believe a lot of people over the last 30, 40 years, a lot of these filmmakers and studios, they've been taking a lot of chances and doing something new and revolutionary. And so we're still kind of in that phase, which is really exciting, where we're all learning, and we're all kind of students in this field of filmmaking, where every day, every project we learn, and the collaboration that goes with it, that's inspiring as well, because of all these talented people. And I always say film is the most collaborative art form, and that's
Oh,
the
absolutely.
concept I started realizing myself. Actually, I started seeing that from a young early age, and to me that was so fascinating, that you have all these people from all walks of life, no matter what your background, your religion, your race, whatever it is, politics. You can all come together for one cause and to tell the story and create something that lives on past yourself or
Yeah, I
others.
love
So
that aspect of it.
so so right there, and it's a living, breathing like experience that I make every single day. I meet new people that I work with and collaborate with. We make magic together, and that's something I believe some people don't really, either they don't understand or they don't accept that it is such a collaborative field that we're in. Every single person on a film, like I just finished a film and we had 75 80 people on an average working every day on
Wow.
set, and every single
What movie was
person.
this?
It was actually the Commando.
Okay,
We
yeah, I was gonna
finished
talk.
it.
Yeah, actually talk about that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
we
one
just
looks pretty
finished it
cool,
off.
actually.
Yeah, it was actually a really fast project, and
Mhm.
we pulled it off. I mean, with everything going on right now, and the unfortunate events of COVID, and the traveling, and so much that was involved in that film, it was a blessing to, be safe and get it done. We were getting COVID tested because it was a SAG film, and
Yeah.
we were getting COVID tested every other 2 days, and with so many people involved,
Oh, that's great. Keep everyone safe. No, that's smart.
uh,
Well,
thank you
what can
so
you say
much.
about the movie? I mean, it's got Mickey Rourke, an amazing actor. I mean, what was like
Oh,
working with him?
yeah, I
And
mean,
what
oh,
can you tell the
amazing. I
story?
mean, uh, well, basically, it was a great ensemble piece that came together with obviously, Mickey Rourke's in it, Michael Jai White, Jeff Fahey, Brendan Fair, Cowboy Cerrone, UFC fighter. So again, it
What a
brought so many
cast.
people from different places, and we shot it on location in New Mexico, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and people, actors, crew came from all over: L.A., Vegas, New York. There was a lot of the locals there in New Mexico. We used some of the best guys. A lot of the team members are now working on the Clint Eastwood movie that's shooting right now as we speak, right after us. So there was a lot happening there when we were there as well. A lot of big studio films. Just people are just coming back from, the shutdowns and post pandemic. A lot of shows were going, and that's what I was saying. We feel so blessed to be able to finish it because everyone was getting shut down that we knew of. Even there was an Idris Elba film that got shut down twice while we were there. And one of the things that I believe we were able to accomplish was be very efficient with our time and teamwork and management. Again, every single person, contributed for us to successfully complete it. Um, and we had a nice formula where it was a very short in and out production, and we
Mhm.
doubled down. Even though we had 11 days of actual shooting days, we had 2 units with 4 cameras going at all times,
Wow.
splitting up the actors, splitting up the schedules and the teams and the units, to where I was even going back and forth, like shooting in the house and then going out and looking at what second unit's doing right outside the house, like 30 feet on the other side of the wall, and calling pretty much action. And I had a second unit director too, actually, and great ones, Phil Tan and Kieran Gallagher. And just overall, our entire team, we work so well together. I would say, obviously there's always one or two bad apples. I won't name names, but 99% of all our, everyone, cast and crew, were right on the ball. Like they were, loving to be back on set and working, and loving, they were passionate about the project, the story, and everyone that worked together. We became a close knit family in a very short time, and we were able to get it done. Like one extra day during this pandemic era is a risk, and for any production. And once you get shut down, you're shut down for 2 weeks. Then you have to come back, and it gets to be a hassle. And a
Yeah.
lot of productions, big ones, mostly because we had 75 people. They have 200 people, 300 people. They have to manage and COVID test, and one false test comes back or one scare happens, they shut down, no questions asked. So it's a blessing to be able to complete, especially a film of that
Yeah.
magnitude where you have so many
And
moving.
did the story for this too? Well, what can you tell us about
Uh,
it?
Yeah, so it was myself and the other producers, Al Bravo and Koji Sakai. We were partners in developing the story, and myself, Al, and Koji, we came up with the concept and the story, and we kept developing it along with the script. Koji wrote the screenplay, and as we um, got into production, a lot of it kept changing. Like we had to update it based on our locations, our cast. Our cast grew. I mean, it was a work in progress even up until now in post when we're in editing, where it's fascinating. It's actually nice because we all come to a agreement on all the changes that we are making because it's actually bettering the film, and the way we shot it, it was kind of like not on the go. We had the script as a base that we were all kind of working off of and creating new things on the spot, from the actors to the department heads, from everything. I mean, even production design, we were making up things like, all right, this is how it's written on script, but this is what we have to work with, or this is how we can make it better. So everyone was very adaptive
Oh, that's
to,
cool.
because we also didn't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Like in the middle of a shooting in October in New Mexico, they had record breaking snow that they usually never get. That we had snowstorms of like, a foot of snow. Everything was shut down. We had to cut one of our shooting days in half just so we can make sure that the crew gets home safe. Because
Yeah.
at sunset, they were closing the roads, closing everything. So on that day we shot like 6 hours, and then we cut everyone off, and then the next day we had to shut down production for a day until the snow melted. So that was a hamperment there, but we were adapting with it. And even the day when I had to shoot with the snow, I was like, all right, this was supposed to happen outside, but now let's make it inside. And you know what, what we came up with, because of the circumstances, it actually ended up becoming better.
Oh
So
wow.
that helped that, everyone was adaptive to it. But there are challenges. Obviously, there are things that made us also waste more time, and some things that we were able to do faster than expected. So there was a balance of everything working out.
Yeah. Well, I love hearing all the film stories, man. It's always fun. Like, obviously, it comes down to you got to be adaptable and collaborate with people and get input from everybody because that's what feels like the keys to making a film work.
Absolutely, and you're so right. And the most, I guess, experienced people are also some of the most professional, um, that we've noticed. Like we had, all kinds of crew and cast that were first time actors, to where lifelong actors. Like you have Mickey Rourke and other actors, big at Jeff Fahey. We were like just, I mean, it was amazing to work with them. Michael J. White. So um, you had a blend of actors that have been doing it for 30, 40 years, 50 years. Then you had actors where it was their first time ever acting. And then some that are, that have been doing it for 10 years, 5 years, a year. And then same thing with crew. There were some crew members that just started doing, say, a second AD job on this. And so there were a lot of and experienced people behind the cameras. We've been doing it for a long time, and then we were also working with a lot of locals we've never worked with before. So there were a lot of adaptability from all sides, and people just picked it up. And it was one of those challenge projects from the beginning, because we were doing a full-on action film, which it is. It has tons of action. I mean, you could never
Yeah, it
believe
looks like it's got like a
we
cool
shot it
throwback.
in.
Yeah, it does like the
Yeah,
space
and
action stuff.
yeah, but the formula, that's what I was kind of getting to, is even though we shot actually 11 days, 11, 12 days, it's it's actually like over 20 days, because of the way we had it scheduled and
Gotcha.
with the crew like formulated. So that, to me, I think would be kind of a smarter way to approach certain films moving forward in this post-pandemic era, or even current pandemic era, where I'm hearing that
Yeah.
there's going to be more shutdowns coming and more restrictions. So knowing that,
Yeah,
this
I
was
think
a
the
great,
numbers are just gonna go up with the cold weather, fortunately.
yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, this was a great test for us to be able to
Yeah.
complete this in this kind of a formula. So in the future, we can plan to shoot less days and
Yeah.
get these productions done faster and safer. And it, like I said, every single day you shoot or you have crew and cast out is a risk, so you can eliminate those risks by just shooting smarter. Also, we were shooting to edit. I have an editing background, and whenever I direct, I always shoot to edit to where I don't waste too much time. I know as I'm shooting, like my duration, what the edits are going to look like, how long the scenes are going to be, what I'm going to really end up with. Obviously, I shoot enough or more to be able to cover enough coverage. I mean, that's why I do multi cameras, and um, we have enough rehearsals, even though we don't get much time. Like on this one, we had like almost no rehearsal times, but we were able to still do enough in a short amount of time with pre-production where we were on the same page. And then again, some things here and there didn't work out as planned, but we adapted. So at least we had that kind of a mindset going into it, knowing that, what, nothing's going to be perfect with this, because we're not in a perfect production with perfect, like normal times, and things always go wrong. No production is ever perfect, just like anything. So we were already kind of ready and prepared to take on all these challenges we were kind of expecting, and it worked well. As like, it was a perfect example for a well um, teamwork, like effort by everyone involved. So I couldn't be more happier and proud of our cast and crew.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. I got to put the kids to bed soon, but I really enjoyed you painting the picture of what it is like to be on set and like, doing too many roles on this thing. It was really, actually really fascinating. So thank you for that. So let's definitely talk down the road for another project. Keep in touch. And is there a website or social media wise people can stay up to date with your, everything you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, my Facebook and my Instagram, those are kind of like the social media pages I sometimes update on. I'm not a big social media guy,
Yeah,
but
busy.
I do have another like Christmas movie called Ace and the Christmas Miracle coming out soon. Hopefully, I think it'll be by this Christmas next month. That's coming out by Lionsgate. I'm sure it'll be on all platforms. And then this one is in post right now. We're looking for, I think, next year when it's going to release. And then I have 4 more films that I'm getting ready to go into pre-production, production, back to back. So it's going to be a pretty busy year, which I can't complain about. Coming
Yeah,
out.
absolutely.
Hopefully, the pandemic gets to be under control so we can
Yeah.
keep working and not get shut down again.
Well, keep up the amazing work, man. You're such a hard worker, very humble guy too. So I appreciate
Thank you,
all the
thank you.
good love.
Trying, getting there, and I appreciate your time
Yeah.
and all that you're doing, because it is inspiring to also see others' stories, and every day, like I learn a new story from someone I'm working with, and you always it's not like that you want to take on a challenge that you get motivated. At least for me, I get motivated to do bigger and better with the people that I meet and that have the same mindset. So I can tell you have kind of a similar mindset.
Yeah.
So keep doing what you're
Thank
doing, and
you.
hopefully we can grow together.
Absolutely. All right, man. You take care. We'll talk soon. All right.
All right, good night.